Hey, what's up, everybody? So this is an awkward situation today because I have no internet because I just moved on Friday. So yes, I got settled. Everything I've been doing has been on paper and on my phone. So this is actually going to be a great lesson for everybody because if you have limited access, if you're working a job, if you're doing whatever you're doing in the morning and you can't sit in front of your computer, this is how you must trade. Now, first, I want to start out with saying every dog has its day. Please don't be a victim to this market. If you're in this market and you're investing and you're like, oh, I'm just going to ride this one down. I invested. And I mentioned this because my mover came and helped me move the other day. And he told me he traded options and I invited him to Discord. So you could probably see the link below. You get 7 free days. But the whole thing was he was telling me he was Apple puts. And I was like, okay, well, if we look at the big money and we use Discord and we looked at the net flow, and I said, yes, there is a bearish divergence. However, if you look at the inflow, you'll see inflow for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and your Apple puts went down in money. When did they expire? And he's like, they expired today. As I'm moving you, they're expiring. I'm like, why are you still holding a losing position? So again, please do not fall victim to this market. Meaning, if you entered a wrong trade and the trade is going against you and big money is telling you that you're going to be wrong, it's okay to exit out and take the loss and pre-plan. So my pre-planning, here it is on the market. This is what I have to work off of today. So let me tell you what I've got down here. All right, I've got the SPY ranges. So let's talk about the SPY ranges and let's zoom out because again, we have the entire week to trade. So zooming out, let's look at last week. Last week there was what was it? Consolidation, right? We broke 400. We went up to 410. We consolidated at a lower level. So pay attention to the following support levels and resistance levels for the SPY. So we're sitting pre-market right under 405. Understand that 405 was a major support and a major resistance level. So either could happen. What could we do at open? Well, if it's a bullish day, we could spike up. They're buying the dip. We see another little dip and we're going higher and we press all the way to 408, let's say, on the high side. If it's a bearish day, then you're going to see resistance at the 405 level, meaning we will drop to 401 today. Understanding that Friday, the low on the SPY Friday was 402.14. So could we go lower? Yes. Is that bearish sentiment? Yes. Do I believe it? No, because what do I keep seeing? Every time there's a dip, what does big money do? They're buying up the dips into this Santa Claus rally. So again, me, SPY, pre-planning, I've got my ranges out. So what am I looking to happen? Okay, say we break and we go under 405. What am I looking for? I'm looking for us to touch 401 and change. What would happen at 401 and change? We'd probably bounce a little higher. So I see a narrow range trading today. Let's keep in mind, there's no really important news coming out until we have CPI next week. We have job numbers on Friday this week, but leading up into job numbers, there's very few companies that are coming out with earnings. There's very few things that can change the sentiment to the market. So then we look over at China and we say, what's going on with China? Okay, well, China ripped again. It went up 4% up overnight, which is why you see Alibaba up 4%, Baidu up 4%, PDD up 4%. NIO, which has been beaten up, is probably up 7%. Then you look at another EV maker, XPeng, right? XPEV, I believe it is. It was as low as 7 last week. It was as high as 12 last week. So you're talking about like a 70% move in some stocks. So they're thinking that some stocks have been oversold. Now, again, me, I'm looking at the ranges today. So what am I going to do? If I'm playing SPY calls or SPY puts, first thing, I'm not choosing 0 days till expiration. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go out till Wednesday. Now, when would I be buying SPY calls? Let's say we see support and the market drops and we see support on the SPY at 402.14, which is Friday's low, meaning you see the SPY drop down, it finds support, it bounces up back to 403 really quick. If that happens, it's telling me that we're having support. So will I chase? No, I won't enter in the market right at that point. What I will wait till happen is for a double bottom, meaning if I saw the bottom already and I said, okay, we went down to 402.14, we tested Friday's low and we're there already this morning, it just bounced back up. It's telling me that's what you want to look for. You want to look for entry again when we dip down to 402.14. So that's my plan for this morning. If I'm going to be bullish to the market. Now, why would I be bullish to the market? Because I mentioned Apple already, 3 straight days of inflow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Volume is lessening. So again, for me, I won't do any trading. I will look at certain stocks at 10 a.m. At 10 a.m., there's 30 minutes of trading. I already know that big money institutions, they like to invest from 9:30 to 9:40. And then they like to close out the day from about 3:50 to 4 p.m. That's when the volume spikes. So I'm going to base my trades off of the first 30 minutes of the trade from 9:30 to 10 a.m. I'm going to look which stocks have inflow, which stocks have outflow. And then I'm going to wait and say to myself, okay, when the market bottoms, I'm going to get into calls for stocks that have inflow because I know when the market rebounds, the stocks that are already strong will push even higher. Let's give an example. Let's talk about my play from Friday. I entered into Alcoa, which is AA. I also mentioned X, which is US Steel, or CLF, which is Cleveland Cliff. I mention these because these are material plays. And as materials like copper, steel, silver, these prices of these commodities are going up. The stocks are going to push higher. So what happened? I gave entry into Alcoa at $146 a contract. What happened after I bought? It went straight up. I sold at $215 a contract. I mentioned that I was looking for $266, $266 a contract if I held till Monday. What happened Friday afternoon? It hit the 266 range. So again, when you have a complete strategy, when you know your entry point is just so great on whatever trade it is, you know you can hold till the proper exit strategy. And now me, I claimed 50%. What could I have claimed? 80%. So we all have this problem of exiting out of good trades too soon and holding bad trades too long. I'm guilty of it. I admit it. When I'm in a bad trade, it's going down. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to look for the bounce. I'll look for the bounce. I'll get out. I'll limit my loss. But that doesn't happen. What happens is it goes down even further, further, further. Then I'm looking for a bounce. And I'm like, shit, if I had just sold when I wanted to sell 2 hours ago, I wouldn't be looking for a bounce. And when the bounce happens, I'm still at a loss. So it's okay to sell losing positions. When you're in a winning trade, like I was in Alcoa again, but you could have been in US Steel, you could have been in Cleveland Cliff, any of these stocks on Friday, they kept pushing higher. In fact, when the market's off 0.5% this morning, I looked at Alcoa and Alcoa was still up. US Steel was still up almost 1%. Cleveland Cliff was still up. So again, there are certain stocks that are seeing a bit of a rotation. So that's what I'm looking at. If I had to choose which position I held, I sold the wrong position on Friday. I should have held my Alcoa calls. I was in pins calls as well that I was profitable in. I should have sold those. Why? Because those are more risky. My pins play is a more speculative play. It's like a Roblox and a Firm and Upstart, more speculative stocks. Whereas Alcoa being a material player, US, those could push higher. So along those lines, I might be looking at like a Home Depot, a Lowe's to see how those play. If you're looking at the Chinese stocks, again, I would stay away because they're just pushing higher. Futu, Baba, Baidu, PDD, Neo, Xpeng. They're all pushing up 3 or 4% each day. So the only way I'd maybe play a Chinese play is end of day around 3:50 p.m. If I want to do calls, I would get into calls and look for it to spike overnight. Again, the Chinese market went up 4% overnight. So do I think that's going to carry over until Tuesday? No, I would be wary. The time to enter into those calls would have been Friday at close. What I think about Chinese puts on these Chinese companies, potentially I'd have to really analyze the Chinese market. And again, the Chinese government hasn't really come out and said, we're doing away with zero COVID policy. We're going to allow this or that. In fact, I haven't seen much coverage over the news this weekend because I have no access to internet and TV. So without access, I can't really make a judgment call on what I'm going to do with China. So again, I go back to my list. If I'm going to give a prediction as far as the SPY today, on the high side, I'm going to say 407.88. Why am I saying that? Because 408 rejected a few times, understanding that if we do push higher, and I am incorrect about the high side of the SPY, we could see 409, and the next step up from 409 is a big step to 414. So later this week, if the market is bullish, I'm looking for the SPY to hold 405, go to 409, 414, and then possibly 419 by the end of the year. Okay, let's go with a bear case scenario. Bear case scenario is the SPY rejects 405, meaning the S&P rejects 4,050, okay, because that's basically what it is. If it does, we could potentially go to 401. If we go to 401, understand how bearish that is, because again, on Friday, the low on the SPY was 402.14. So if we break the low on Friday and we see a new low today, that would mean a lower low, which again is bearish sentiment. We have seen major support on the SPY at 397. So that's pretty important. Again, you've got my strategy. Now, what do I do personally today? I've mentioned over and over again, when I enter a trade before 11 a.m., my trades tend to suffer. I'm right. I'm all of a sudden green, and then green turns red because the market is there to fool you. So anybody that's saying, well, the market's definitely going down today, the UVX, the VIX is going to spike, no, you're making that up. It could happen, but nobody knows for sure. Nobody has that crystal ball today. In fact, if we go off market sentiment, what's been happening is they've been continuing to buy the dip. So that's what my strategy is. I'm looking for the dip. I'm looking for support at the bottom, and I'll be bullish on this market. Now, if there's outflow in the SPY, I will realize that by 10 a.m. I will change my strategy. If I see outflow in the SPY, then I'm going to say, okay, well, if they're selling the SPY, there's going to be consolidation. So what would I be looking for? I'd be looking for the markets to spike higher. A spike higher would let me enter my put positions. Again, any positions I'm going to enter today, if they're on the ETF, the SPY, the Qs, the TQQQ, I will go out, TQQ obviously on Friday, but if I'm just doing Qs or SPY, I'll go out to Wednesday. That gives me 3 days to be correct. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. If I'm playing an option on a stock, then I will probably go out an extra week. I won't call December 9th, which is this Friday. I'll go out till December 16th, which gives me an extra week to be correct, because let's understand, we're all looking for instant gratification. We're all looking for instant wealth to improve, whatever we're doing as far as trading goes. And understand, I'm here to help improve your efficiency. So we all don't get instant gratification right away. That's why we buy out the extra time, because I can't tell you how many times that I've been correct about a position, but my timing's been off because I've been a day or two early. Let's just see. Carlos, do we have any questions today? Again, if you want to join, you can join Discord. You get 7 free days. We have a Moomoo link as well. You deposit $100, you get 5 free stocks. You got to do this before December 20th. You deposit $1,000 in Moomoo, you get 15 free stocks. So $1,000 will return you 10% without trading. $100 will return you 40% without trading. So please use the Moomoo link. Find us on Discord. If we have any questions, Carlos, please post them. If not, I'm going to head over to Discord and we'll get our start on the day there. And I'll see everybody tomorrow morning. As soon as I get my internet back, I guarantee it'll be much cleaner and smoother, because I'm going to use charts and show you exactly what positions I'm looking at. And that'll happen on Wednesday. But again, please join me Tuesday morning. Thumbs up, and I'll see everybody a little later.